let's get going here. So this is a presentation I gave at Origins or Gamma a couple of years ago. Origins, of course, is also a Gamma run show, sort of, partially run. But I gave it either at Gamma or at Origins. And it's building a winning game selection for your store. So let's just go ahead. My name is Channing, and I am one of the co-owners of Rain City Games. You saw my wife Andrea gave a presentation earlier, some of you, on how to build a winning brand on a budget. And so we are the two owners of Rain City Games. Did I? Okay. Yes, okay. So a quick note. Oh yeah, it's all down here, but I can't really see it because I'm half blind. Your product mix will be unique, and this presentation is not prescriptive. So this is not gospel, obviously. This is what works for us. You got to try to find what works for you, but some helpful ideas. Yeah, I said, can I get that even bigger? I have to stand really close. Okay, oh, and you can see the next slide too. That's great. Okay, so assessing your current inventory. Thank you, people in the back. That's awesome. Two basic ways to decide what stays and what goes. So that's what this whole presentation is about, is how to decide when it's time to get rid of stuff and how to decide what you want to carry. And before we get into that, actually, I'm just going to quickly talk about our store. So those that don't know, we are Rain City Games out in Vancouver. We have two stores, and between the two stores, we do maybe $2 million a year in revenue. A lot of that is board games. We're a very board game-centric store. However, we also do TCGs, about 25%, maybe a bit more. And we do some other categories, like puzzles and role-playing is pretty big for us too. But board games is roughly 50% of what we sell. So we go through a lot of board games. So a lot of this is going to be based off of our board game sales and some of our stuff from board games. But yeah, so assessing your current inventory, two basic ways to decide what stays and what goes. And first up, the first way to decide, my least favorite way, my wife's favorite way. Who is the scientist in our relationship? Not me. Okay, so the first way to decide, this is the data side, the analysis side. This is the crunching the numbers and looking at spreadsheets, which my wife loves and I don't like so much, but here I am, giving a presentation on it. So, first off, assessing your current inventory using turns, and turns are things like in the industry. If anybody here not really understand what a turn is when it comes to your inventory, right? How much you sell something a year, and you could do that by a category. You could do that in your entire inventory. You could do individual items. How many times do we turn over code names? Is the example my wife and I were talking about earlier today when we were discussing this. And an example of a turn could be like so. It's often said that you want to have somewhere between 4 and 6 turns a year on a product. If you have greater turns than that, you need to order more at the same rate so that you'll have fewer turns, right? So for code names, for example, if I normally sell 10 code names in a go, or not 10 code names, sorry, if I sell 100 code names in a year, for example, and I'm ordering it 10 times a year, I have 10 turns of code names, that's a little much. I should be ordering more code names so that I am not having to reorder as frequently. You only want to reorder sort of 6 times a year for that turn, or to get that rate of 6 turns per year. Did that make sense? I don't know if it made sense to me. I'm not the math guy. My wife is. We can talk to her later. Okay. So assessing your inventory of turns. I should have hit this button first, so I was trying to explain this. It was all right there. Okay. Turns is very useful to determine things like your slow-moving inventory. There are some parts where less than 6 turns might be desirable. You might want to have higher turns for some things. We, in our store with board games, high, crunchy strategy games, I'm okay if I only sell 4 of those a year because they're a bit more expensive. We understand they're slower moving. So I can make sure that I only ever have 1 in my inventory and not 10 copies of it because I want to try to get through 10 a year. If I know it's only going to be 4, if I'm only going to sell about 4 a year, I'm okay with a turn of 4. Anything below 4, it starts to get dicey. And turns can also be useful to using your turns and looking at your turns to predict or to optimize your ordering, making sure you're not being sold out because you don't want to be out of something, and then for months you're out of something because your supplier can't get it in. So you sometimes need to look at your turns and think, well, is this a high moving item? Is this an item that also goes in and out of stock really fast with our suppliers. So like when heat came in through Asmodee the first time, and we got a bunch in, and it was all gone, and we couldn't get it from Asmodee again for months, right? And suppliers have the same issues we do sometimes, so it's understandable. So you can use turns, looking at your inventory, looking at how fast something goes. If you have a POS system, I should point out with a caveat, if your POS system can report how often and how frequently you're selling things. Does everybody here have a POS system that sort of does that in some way or another? Can you all run reports where you can see how often a month, how often a year things are moving? Okay. Super important. And yes, turns can help you improve cash flow, making sure that money doesn't get stuck in dead stock, because there's nothing worse than boat anchors on your shelf that are just sitting there costing you space, and you've spent money on it and it's not moving. Okay. Moving on. This one, I'm going to actually call my wife up to give me a hand on this one, because the math side I really have a hard time with understanding. So Andrew's going to come up and talk about GMROI, GMROI. I'm not very good at GMROI. I don't really understand sort of it, but she's going to come on up and give me a hand. The scientist will come up here and tell you about GMROI.
And Jared Robertson, everyone.
Hi.
You can do that.
Okay. So basically, GMROI, here, you can have this back, is used to assess, here, it's easier to explain with the equation. You are assessing how much money you make off a thing and how obnoxious it is to deal with it. So if your gross, this is a ratio, and you want this number to be as high as possible. A higher number is better. So as we all remember from learning fractions, you can make this number higher by either making this number higher or making this number lower. So you can increase the gross margin that you're collecting off of an item to increase the GMROI, or you can decrease the amount of money that is tied up in that item. For example, Frosthaven, huge. When we sell a copy of Frosthaven, we do make a bit of money off it. It's a big game, has more money in the margin, but before we sell it, we have a lot of money tied up in that copy of Frosthaven. So GMROI helps us assess whether it's worth having that many copies of Frosthaven in our backstock. Yeah, we'll make money when they sell, but in the meantime, could we be doing other things with that money? Conversely, small little, yesterday Dee was talking about impulse items, just quick little cheap things that just fly off the shelves. Yeah, you're only making $1 or $2 here or there, but you don't have a lot of money sunk into them, and they're getting you a lot of gross margin. That will have a high GMROI. So you can kind of assess your inventory in that way by basically deciding who your real winners are that are keeping your cash flow flowing, keeping it moving.
Thank you. Okay, an important part of assessing your current inventory is assessing how much floor space your inventory takes up. There's certainly some categories of stuff that are more profitable for a smaller amount of space, but maybe they don't sell. So again, a Frosthaven sells for a lot of money. Great. It also takes up a lot of space. Magic, TCGs, oh yeah, that takes up no footprint. Very, very small in your store. So you can calculate this out by who's making the most of your limited space. I keep forgetting that there's a next slide. But you can easily calculate this out. Grab a tape measure, walk through your stores, measure out your TCG area, measure out your role-playing area, do the calculations. Look at the sales history of it, or look at the, how much revenue you've had over those, divide it by the areas occupied, and figure out, is this something that we really want to worry about? Or is this something we really want to work on? Maybe, as an example, in our store, and this is something I haven't actually measured out, but I've started looking at least the revenue side of it, we have a lot of space in our store dedicated to puzzles. We started bringing in GW stuff 2 years ago, and it's got a small space. GW's making a bit more money than puzzles are. Maybe I want to switch their space around. Maybe I want to move them, swap them, or give GW more space somehow. I have to convince my wife some of these things, but you know. So yeah, doing these calculations, measuring things out, looking at the revenue of various categories or what have you, is another important part of assessing your inventory. It rewards efficiency, as it says there. Okay, I keep looking at this, I should be looking down here. Assessing your current inventory, sales history momentum. How frequently are you selling an item? Are sales speeding up or slowing down? So while you're assessing your inventory, you can look at these sort of numbers, and they can give you important information about identifying trends. Is this game slowing down? We saw during the pandemic sped up. The game sped up very, very much early in the pandemic, and then towards the end of the pandemic, nobody's buying Pandemic anymore. Everybody's sick of it. Time to get off the ride. And yeah, you want to get off the ride before, you don't want to be stuck with 30 cases of Pandemic when it's not selling anymore. So assessing your inventory and using these sort of math tools in your point of sale system and looking through your reports can help you identify when trends are starting and when trends are stopping. There's lots of reasons why trends might start to pick up or slow down. Licensed items can be very whimsical that way. You might, you know, right now, what is big hot that's a licensed item right now that's really big? Oh, we were just talking about the Witcher Gwent. That might be very popular for the next year, and then it might die off real quick. So you got to kind of pay attention to the trends of your reports or the information you're getting from your reports, so you can avoid being stuck with too much inventory of that if the licensed item is starting to die off. Licensed items tend to, we find for board games anyways, they tend to like almost be flashes in the pan. They'll come in really hot for a little while, and then you know the next new hotness comes in, the next new license that's really popular comes in and nobody wants. You know, the next one might be Walking Dead, or not Walking Dead, Last of Us might be, you know, a license that you'll start seeing a lot of, and then it might just disappear for a while. So. You also might have scandals involved that could decide, like we stopped carrying anything that was Harry Potter related a couple of years ago. There's lots of still Harry Potter stuff out there, but if our customer base is no longer buying stuff that's, you know, and that could be scandal based, you want to look at your reports and see what's going on and maybe get off that ride quick. Okay, so. To circle back, we said there was 2 ways of assessing your inventory. The first way was my wife's favorite way, using math and science. I'm less skillful at that. The second way is, okay? I didn't make the slideshow, my wife did. She's so good at making slideshows, I'm just gonna point that out. So, using vibes, feeling it out, listening to your customers, listening to your staff, determining what is your unique value proposition. What makes you special? How do you differentiate yourself, your store, from the next store down the road or the next store in the next community? What is different about you? What is different about Rain City Games? How are we different? We are top of mind for board games. We have a massive selection we have 1,200 titles of board games on our shelves. Well, maybe not 1,200, pretty close. You know, a lot of the other stores focus more on TCG in our little area, or they focus on, you know, something else. We also focus on being very, very accommodating, inclusive. We focus on being very, very casual. So for all our events, we are almost flat for pricing on a lot of our events because we don't want to be that competitive store. There are competitive stores in Vancouver. The competitive players can go there, and the casual ones can come to us, and we're fine with that, you know, and they're fine with that as well. So what makes us different? And I didn't hit the button again. I'm so bad at this, my wife's gonna kill me. So these are things that could differentiate. Maybe you are the lowest price in town, and that's your unique value proposition, is that you're, you know, cheaper than anybody else. Maybe you focus on things like local games. In our store, we made little designed in Canada stickers with little red maple leaves on this. We did this years ago. We didn't just do this recently. And we've had that in our store because we are 5 blocks away from a cruise ship terminal in downtown Vancouver. We get tourists coming in all the time, and they love to see that. They want to buy a game to go play on the ship, and they want to buy a local game. Yeah, the game was made in China. It was designed by somebody local, and local in this case might be somebody in Thunder Bay, Ontario. It's Canadian, okay, you know. Good ways to sort of like identify that you're different than other stores. Unusual and unexpected offerings as well, that's another way. What do we do that's unusual and unexpected offering? I don't think we have anything that really falls in that category.
Local stuff or treasures that you found along the way, trade shows, whatever.
I don't think we focus on that too much though, but other than, really the local games is kind of one of our things that makes us stand out, so. I just see these notes here. Yeah, so if you're gonna do that, if you're gonna find unusual and unexpected offerings, choose products that are gonna surprise, delight, be memorable, and set you apart. On this next slide here, now this is data from a couple years ago, and we got some data from some of the other stores that we are friends with. We got Red Claw Games up there, I think. They're sitting right over there. Black Knight Games down in Hamilton. Kingslayer Games is down in Anaheim. A friend of ours owns those two stores. And this is just an example of how different stores can be different. Our store, as you can see, our small store is the New West store, and that's almost 55% board games is how they focus on things. It's in a bit more of a family-friendly neighborhood, and there's less of the TCG in there and more of the families coming in. So we sell more board games in that store. And as we just go through, you can actually just see on this slideshow, so Rain City Games New West is about 54% board games, whereas some other stores are 1.2% board games, right? It is very nice to be diverse, but also, if your unique value proposition is that you're the card shop in town and everybody knows, you want to go to Lake Forest or whichever one of his is, Fountain Valley, I'm sorry, is the card-heavy shop. Is that cards? That is cards. That's another way you can define yourself through unique value proposition. So these are just some of the makeups of some of the stores. Some stores do more miniatures, some stores do more board games, and so on. I'm just gonna go back 1 second. Was there anything I needed to see there? Nope. Okay. So be responsive to, that's just all to say, be responsive to your community. If you know that your players all want to be, or if you know you've got a community of TCG, focus on that, work on that. Find them unique offerings in that sort of category if you can. And that's not to say you don't want to branch out or you can't branch out, or that you can't go outside of your lane. You certainly can, but be responsive to this too. What do the people demand? What do they want? And are they going to pay you for it? This could be things like customer inquiries. I was talking to somebody earlier today about our Discord channel on our store. We've set up a sub-channel within our Discord channels, or our Discord server. We have a channel for product inquiries. People send us messages on that all the time. It's a great way to, hey, can you get us one of these? Our staff all know how to go to Asmodee's website or the other guy's website or, and find things out. Well, I will caveat that with don't ever make promises. We always tell our staff, we'll try to get you that. We think we can get you that by next week. Could be the new hotness and stuff as well. You can look up on Board Game Geek's new hotness scale on the left and see what's new stuff is on there if you're looking for board games that are really hot. And following industry trends. This is a great way to make sure you're selling stuff. Find a champion. We have a guy in our store. Is there another slide? No, there's not. We have a guy in our store who a couple of years ago decided that his favorite game ever was The Initiative, and I don't think Asmodee's ever had a copy since, because I just buy them all, because he sells them all. He also did that with Scout last Christmas, and if any of you needed Scout, I had 200 copies like every other week, because I just kept buying them out of Universal. If you can find a champion who's passionate on your staff, feed them. Feed them. Just let them go. Let them cook. They will make you so much money, it's great, But really, really nurture that. And you want to nurture those champions. Make sure if they're huge into Warhammer, you give them the time and the place. They still have to do their job, absolutely. But really, really, really encourage them to sell because they will be, and maybe you're the champion. I've been a champion in our store for Hanabi for years. I love Hanabi. Find a champion. Okay, in our store, in Rain City Games, how we analyze games. We typically focus on one product area each month, and there's two ways. There's the high-tech way and the low-tech way to determine if something is getting a little stale, needs to be looked at, needs to be gone because we do all have to learn how to get rid of games, when stuff's not moving. The super low-tech effort, change your price stickers once a year. If the color of your price sticker if that one is red and you are not using red anymore, maybe that game's starting to smell. You might need to get rid of that game. That's a super easy low-tech effort. The high-tech effort is to crunch your POS numbers. Look at your reports. Constantly check every item. Every time I'm ordering from any supplier, I spend probably too much time doing this, but I look at every single item I'm ordering, and I look at the history of it every single time I order. How much did we sell this month? How much did we sell this year? And then I also have to think, well, maybe they were out of stock. The supplier might have been out of stock for 6 of those months, so you have to consider that as well. Really crunch your numbers. Really look at the trends, yeah. Are there notes here that I need to read? A product area in this case can equal a major department. So you could look at crunch your numbers of all your squish, or just do it by item. I mean, I'm obsessive. I do it by item, not just by category. We assess individual product lines every couple of months. My wife does more of that than I, because she's obviously the science person. I'm not. And the price tag thing actually does work. So yeah, if you change your price tags, it's really easy and quick. You can just look and see, oh, there's a green price tag. We haven't used green price tags in 2 years. What is that still doing here? Time to get that one to go. And how do you get rid of things? How do you know when it's time to send a game upstate? Nice little farm. Okay? It's time to get rid of the game to cull the herd. These are different ways you can cull the herd. Okay? Plenty of these. As far as photos, by the way, people for taking photos of the slides, our slideshows for my wife and myself are on our website. There's a website we will give you. You can just go and access. And there's extra ones there for other slideshows we've given at Gamma as well, other presentations. We'll give you that at the end. But if you want to take photos, by all means, but I'm just letting you know. So how to get things moving that are not moving. Promote the heck out of it through social media, word of mouth, whatever you need to do. Give it better shelf placement. Maybe it's not working in this area. Turning a game sideways, if it's spine in on a shelf, and giving it, the front artwork might do it. In our store, we have shelves that start about waist high, and they go up pretty high. And we have always found that, these ones sell. This is Siberian no man's land. People aren't looking. People just don't walk into a store and go. They're not going to look at games that way. They want to just see what's right in front of them. They'll buy that. So maybe bring it down. You can try that for a bit. If that's not working, obviously find somebody to champion it. Really push for one of your staff who seems like they might be interested, or has a copy, or is interested in maybe borrowing the store's demo copy and learning how to play it, and champion it, and champion it, and champion it. If that doesn't work, put it on sale for sure. That's always an option. You can put it in your sale bin. You can increase the discounts. You can do all kinds of things. Maybe that doesn't work. Reach out to other stores. So we've done this. We actually did this with, Jen didn't actually show up at this show. She got, not you, Jen, other Jen Haynes. Jen Haynes last year, she told us that she had a bunch of old Magic stuff she couldn't move. Well, I'll buy it. Reach out to other stores. You got lots of friends in this room. If you got stale stock, maybe somebody else wants it. Maybe they can't get their hands on that. Give them a bit of a deal. Sure. Pay for the shipping, whatever. It's a good way to get rid of product. And you get some of your money back. Even if you don't get 100% of your money back, getting some of your money back is better than getting none of your money back. You can sometimes return things to distros. We're very lucky in Vancouver that the other guys have a warehouse out there, and I can bring back stuff all the time if it's within reason. If it's not selling, sometimes they'll take it back. I'm a good enough customer, they know I'm going to spend money elsewhere. You can make deals with your distros sometimes. It doesn't hurt to ask. It doesn't hurt to ask. Giveaways, event prizing. I give away all kinds of stuff that is not moving in part of every single Magic tournament we do, every single pre-release. We're getting rid of old deck boxes or old commander decks. How many people have bought, 20 commander displays or 10 commander displays of the most recent set, and 2 of those damn decks do not move? Get rid of them by prizing. Prize them out. Get rid of them. Who cares? It's cheaper pricing for you. You're getting rid of product that is, and the customer's going to think, oh, I'm getting a $90 deck or a $60 deck. Well, it only cost you $30. That's great. And if they're happy, they're happy. So giveaways, event prizing, another way. Donations. Our store gets hit with emails all the time for people asking for donations, to the point where we've had to have on our website how donations work with our store. We only take so many organizations a year that we work with, and we will donate through them. We donate through friends of ours who own a local game convention, because they have a demo library and they have like a bunch of stuff that they use for donations. So we have some people that come in for a pub night, or they start a pub night nearby and they need prizing for that, so we donate to them. We donate to organizations that are local to us in Vancouver that are important to us. So that's another way you can get rid of stuff. Mystery bags. It's in blue for a reason. Anybody here do mystery bags? Mystery bags are incredible to get rid of stuff. So what my wife came up with a couple years ago, Andrea came up with blind date with a board game every Valentine's. So we get a bunch of craft bags. She'll find, okay, we got 3 different games here that aren't moving very well. Maybe one of those 3 is not the greatest game ever. We try not to put anything that's less than a 6.0 on BGG in there. 3 games, she'll try to find the theme that ties them together. So maybe these are all space-related games, or maybe these are all harvesting games. And then she'll put some cryptic clue on the outside of the brown bag, put the games in the bag, staple it up, add up the total of what they all should cost, or what the price should be for the total of all 3 of them, and then discount that by 30% or whatever. They sell like crazy. People love the game of, oh, I wonder what could be in here. Great way to get rid of product. Finally, bicycle kick. This is an inside joke in our store. We always had this joke about, if we can't sell anything, maybe we take bets on how far we can kick it out of the store. Okay, that's a euphemism for just throw it away. Sometimes, and it's so hard for retailers to wrap their minds around this sometimes, it is better for you to stick product that is not moving in the garbage than have it continue to take up space on your shelf. It's costing you money there. You could put something else that will sell there. If there's no other way for you to get rid of something, throw it away, recycle it, bicycle kick it out of the store. Which, I thought about it, and maybe I could like sell tickets for a bicycle kick competition. Another way to make some money back on it. But it's a hard thing for retailers to wrap their mind around. I've paid money for this thing. I want to get some money back before I am forced to throw this away. Throw it away. If it's not moving, if you've had it for too long, it's got an orange tag on it, and you've not been using orange tag for 2 years, throw it away. If you couldn't find any other way to do it. That is my presentation on sort of cultivating and learning how to see and notice the trends and making sure that you are bringing in but also getting rid of things in your collection. Now this could also, again, I'm talking about from the board game perspective, from dealing and selling and buying board games. This could work for just about all of the categories, really. Are there any questions? Anybody? Any questions? Yes, John T. John T's always got questions.
When you talk about bringing in like 10 copies of something that you know is going to shift through within a month or so,
yeah.
Are you running a stock room, or are you having 10 copies out on the shelf?
Okay, so now I get to talk about the weird things about our store. So our store in downtown Vancouver is 3 blocks away from Main and Hastings. Anybody not know what Main and Hastings is? Main and Hastings in Canada is the poorest postal code in all of Canada. Lots of fentanyl and drug addiction and homelessness. We don't typically try to leave too many copies of anything on our shelves. So we stock things in the stock room, and it's as a security measure, if I can go, oh, code names do it. There's a hole there. What's happening? Then I can quickly react and go and look at the cameras and see. I've had to run down the street to get my stuff back sometimes. That said, I wouldn't have a problem if I was in a better neighborhood maybe keeping, and there are some products we do keep a lot more of on the shelf in more secure parts of the store. Whatever you can do. I mean, if it's still, I'm ex-military from many years ago, not quite as long as Dave from Red Claw, he was in for a long, long time, but I am very, very big on the presentation, the uniform look of things, the professionalism look of things. So I don't want, that's not really a good picture, but I want to make sure that everything's nice and flush on our shelves. So if my staff are trying to cram too many copies in there and they start to like spill out a bit, I hate that. Does that sort of answer your question? Did you have any other issues with that? No? Any other questions? Yes.
With the mystery boxes, do you end up, do you mark them final sale? How do you get customers not returning the mystery
Oh,
box
yes.
games?
No. Anything that is in our sale bin is marked through our point of sale system. We can put as a checkbox. You can just be like, this is final sale. And so the staff, as the receipt will print up, or as we email them the receipt, it says this is a final sale item on there. And we do the same thing for mystery bags as well. Yes, that was the. Yeah, question here.
When we ship shipments, a lot of times there are dings and dents and damages. How do you deal with them?
I whip my staff. We don't get a lot of staff complaints about customer complaints about dings and dents. Are you talking about shipping from the supplier to you, or? Oh, okay. I'm very lucky that my major supplier, Tommy doesn't want to hear this, but Universal's our major supplier. It's our biggest supplier, and they've got a warehouse in our town, so I return things directly to them, and they replace it just like that. Easy to do if I can drive there. If you have to have it shipped to you, it's harder to do. Now I'm assuming if they shipped you a case of code names and 6 of them or 4 of the 6 were damaged, send it back. Make them pay for it. I mean, I hope they would do that. Oh, it's true. Yes. So if we make it. Actually, I should caveat. We make an assessment. Does that look like I can sell it for 10% off? Does that look like I can sell it for 20% off? Anything more than 20% off, I'm sending back. But yes, we do have stickers that we put on things and I will sell dinged and dented stuff. It goes into our sale bin. We have one sale bin in the store. In fact, you can see it right here, and it's right in the entrance of the store, a little sale tag there. Normally you don't have your sale bin right next to the entrance of your store, but once again, our neighborhood, if somebody's gonna steal something, I want them to steal it out of the sale bin and not from our regular shelves, so we fly in the face of regular conventions in our store when it comes to security. Did that answer your question? Okay.
We have another question here.
Yes.
Yeah, Channing, and for Andrea as well as a question. I know you guys said the mystery bags are pretty useful for you guys to do.
Yes.
How frequently, I know you mentioned that it was a February date night thing that you do. How frequently do you guys try to organize the bags, or do you have them available at all times pretty much?
They are labor intensive. They're a little bit of a pain in the butt to put together. And we keep like boxes in the back storeroom, like way in the back corner of the storeroom that we don't have to go into, with a bunch of stuff that's donatable materials, stuff that we've got extra copies of, but okay, we at some point need to get rid of these. So they will be good candidates for grabbing stuff when we are choosing stuff first of all for donations and then for mystery bags. We do the mystery bag thing every February for Blind Date with a Board Game. We have done them when in Vancouver they used to have the Shucks convention that would come through, and we were the premier retailer there because we're only 5 blocks away from the convention center, so, or 10 blocks away or whatever. So we would have a booth there, and when we would go to we would bring mystery bags to conventions, and we'd make Canada-themed ones or whatever, and people loved them. They went crazy because, I mean, you've got a very captive audience at a convention, right? They're there to play board games. They're there to talk board games. They're there to buy board games. What a great time to bring them mystery bags. They're addicts. They want those mystery bags. They want to see what's in there. They need that dopamine. What am I going to get? What am I going to get? So we do it for conventions. We do it for February. I have heard of a lot of retailers in the US that always talk about this. They do it at Christmas time as well. Make, Christmas presents and wrap it up, and it's a mystery gift in there, and it's discounted stuff, but great. I don't subscribe to that. Personally, it's Christmas time. I'm shooting fish in a barrel. It is so easy to sell anything at Christmas time. Why the hell am I discounting anything at Christmas time? So I don't offer discounts at Christmas time. I try not to have sales and offer discounts and stuff. And so mystery bags we don't really do at Christmas, but a lot of stores do. Oh, yes, Dee. Uh-oh. Now the hecklers are coming out.
I'm not going to heckle, but I'm going to add to what Channing just said with mystery bags. I do Christmas, and I know it's shooting fish in a barrel to get people to buy games at Christmas. But honestly, for me, what I do is I save everything that isn't going to sell all year. I store it. It's the only thing that I store in the basement of my store. And then at Christmas, we wrap it all and I sell them, usually around a 50% discount. People buy everything they want and then they buy the mystery boxes. They do. Oh my gosh, Jenny.
Yeah, but okay, so
that's-
caveat there for Dee. Dee's store, her real Christmas is actually in July and August when all the tourists roll through. That's when she makes all her money, and Christmas is secondary to that. It's still a big bump, I'm told, but not as big as a bump as her summers are. So selling mystery bags in her off season is like me saying I don't sell mystery bags at Christmas. Any other questions? Oh, yes, Sebastian, I'll just give you this one.
Hello, Channing. We're kind of small shop. It's been only 1 year. We are 1 year and a half that we are open. If you have some resource to expense, to which one side you're gonna go first? The beautiful layouts to improve the merchandising and the games, or the websites?
Oh, what do you think, Andrea?
Crookie.
Yeah, it definitely depends on your priorities. I really don't have an answer. I don't know. Yeah, Andrea, as Andrea says, it really depends on your priorities. Depends on what you can afford. Depends on what kind of deals you can get. Maybe I'm working on your website. If you can find somebody to do it cheap and great and still make it look good. I'm an old school guy. I'm not an old school guy, but I'm less tech savvy than my wife. I'm less tech savvy than some of you probably are. So I'm the operations guy in our store. My wife does more of the admin and the HR as well, but a lot of the admin stuff and the marketing and all of that, making the store look pretty on the website and stuff. But I subscribe 100% to having a store look professional and pretty on the inside too. Now that's not to say that my wife has not had the majority of the influence on making the really pretty things in the store look good, because she's great at that. I think though, I just 100% prescribe, and we want our stores to look professional. We don't want our stores ever to look like comic book guy's dungeon, Android dungeon or whatever in The Simpsons, with a grumpy guy behind the counter, and it's dark, and we want it to be bright, and we want it to be professional. It's going to invite more customers in. You're going to get the soccer moms, as Dee was talking about earlier, and they're going to spend like bank. So, I don't know if that really answered your question though, because it's kind of a depends situation. Yes?
How do you keep track of how long things have been out of stock at the distributors so you can evaluate
Okay.
your yearly sales?
Yeah, so our point of sale system is Lightspeed. It is expensive. It is really good for businesses that have multiple locations. We have 2 locations. It's okay for online. It's kind of linked over. Where Lightspeed really, really shines though is their just wide array of reports you can run is crazy in Lightspeed. So we've got all kinds of reports. But even stuff like, and this is actually a pretty simple report. It's not even really a report. I can just look on any item in our inventory. I can see the history of the purchase orders, when they got them in, and I can also see, and I can look at the same time at the history of the sales, and I can see, I did it a bunch of times out on the trade floor today while I was talking to some of our reps. I can see, things in rings, or Lure. Everybody should get Lure, by the way. That game is incredible, and it sells. Lure, I got 36 mid-January, and I sold out of Lure February 14th, and I haven't been able to get it back. I got to talk to Allplay and figure out what the hell's going on, because I need to get more of that in. So I can look at the history of every single item in our system because of the POS we use, which is Lightspeed. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Was there
Yes, mostly.
mostly? Is there something lingering?
No, just in my head I'm thinking it out, so you're good.
Yeah, you look at if your system, if there's any way in your system you can look at the history of the individual items, and you can sort of, as I said earlier, when I'm placing my orders every week, I go to every single item and look at how many I've sold this month, how many I've sold this year, and what the purchase order history was. Is there a reason why I haven't sold more? It looks like I haven't been able to get it in stock for a couple of months. Any other questions?
We'll take one last question, Channing. if
One
you're okay.
last question, okay,
Yes, I'm
cool.
sorry, we have to wrap it up.
No, it's fine, it's fine. Gotta
Some
pee.
people might also be wondering, that round unit, where did you get that round unit?
So, we got very lucky when we bought our store from the previous owner. We got a good deal, we bought our store, yada, yada, yada. Our store has been, our main store, this is our main store in Vancouver, has been in 4 different locations in this mall. He moved around a lot because he was always trying to get a better deal and whatever. It came with all of this, it came with these fixtures. There's 3 of them in our store. It came with this counter that is this beautiful all the way around counter. It came with all of the shelves. You can see they're like full wood shelves. So every time a distributor's like, oh, there's this great thing, Warhammer gives you this great rack. Do you want it? No, I don't want it. Look at my shelves. We got very lucky. That's all. That's the answer to your question. Is we just got lucky when we bought our store. They're all custom made. Everything in there was custom made. It was originally supposed to be a wedding dress shop. That's why there's these weird holes in the ceiling where they would hang wedding dresses down. Any other questions? I guess Tommy said no more questions anyway, so you're out of luck.
Thank you so much, Channing, for
Thanks,
everything.
guys.
That was great. Thank you so much.
Just one last thing. If you're like a store that is struggling, just what we learned when we first went to Gamma. My wife and I first went to Gamma 6 years ago, and the very first thing they said 7 years ago, and the very first thing they said to us, in our very first premier retailer presentation or welcome retailer presentation. This is the best first step you can make to learning to become a better business. Come to these shows, talk to other retailers, really network, figure out, steal ideas from each other. It's fine. It's a compliment if you're stealing stuff from me. If you're, not my stuff, but my ideas. It's a compliment. Learn from us all. Yes, Dee?
I want to remind people that there is a Canadian Retailers Facebook page. If you're not on it, come talk to me and we will get you on it today.
Dee is saying there is a Canadian Facebook retailers page that we all talk to and we all bounce the ideas off of each other. Where the heck do I get lure these days? I can tell you that. Just ask us on the Facebook page, become part of a member of the group. I can tell you, go to Allplay. You might not want to have to set up the account. It might be a pain in the butt, but that's where you get it. This is a great first step to making your business better, is coming to shows like this and Gamma, if you're ever going to go into the US for Gamma and stuff like that. Great resources. Make the most out of them. Attend these presentations from other peers, but also all the premier presentations from the publishers that you get to see all the new stuff. This is a great first step. So I just wanted to say that before we log off.
Thank you, Channing. It's all good on this already.